I'm Bonnie with gbonnie.com, and today I want to show you some adorable travel tags. Now, you know, if you have someone, or even if you love the adventure of travel, or if you travel for work, these are a great thing to have, and they're in the hoop. A little fussy, but they make up pretty fast. So here are some of the designs for these travel tags. Here's one that says, "Joy is in the journey," and there's also a larger one that you can use to put on pillows or totes. Here's one that says, "Bon voyage," and there's also a larger one that you can put on pillows or totes. Here's one that says, "I love to cruise," and there's also a larger one that you can put on pillows or totes. Here's one that says, "Time to travel." This is particularly good if you're traveling for work, I think. And here's one that says, "To travel is to live." And again, there's a larger one to put on either pillows or a tote. The project for each of these pillows and the totes are also on our web if you want to try those to make a coordinating set. Okay, so let's get started. First of all, you will want to download the zip from our website. And when you download the zip, what you're going to get is a PDF plus a number of files. So you'll have 5 files, and you'll choose the files that your machine reads. In this PDF, the cover sheet lets you make sure that your printer is printing the right size. The second one is an actual insert for your travel tag for people to put their names and how to get a hold of them if their luggage gets lost. And then the rest of it is instructions, step-by-step instructions on how to put this in the hoop project together. So here's what you're going to need for this project. In my case, I'm using a pseudo suede. I'm actually using ultra suede, but any kind of a fabric that's not going to fray a lot. This is a fabric that's canvas-like with a rubberized back, so it keeps it from fraying. There's a number of those kinds of things on the market. I think I got this at Joann's. So this is clear vinyl for your window. You'll need a piece of tissue paper, and I'll explain that as we go through. Some cardstock, again. Some temporary adhesive. Some heavyweight stabilizer. Some like Scotch tape. You'll need to have thread that will match your fabric. Also thread for your design. You'll also need a matching bobbin because the backs and the fronts show when you're finishing your tags. You will need a small pair of embroidery scissors. These are Fiskars. You can get them at Joann's or Walmart. And of course, regular scissors. And because this has a slight nap, I also put water-soluble stabilizer over the top of the fabric before I actually do the design. You'll want to hoop a piece of 8.5 by 11 paper in your 5 by 7 hoop and sew out your pattern. Make sure you change your needle because paper has a tendency to dull needles, so put an old needle in. So you'll have this one, you'll have this pattern sewn out, and you'll also have a pattern with the loop and the window. And I've already cut out the window, and I'm cutting out the loop, and I want you to cut out just on the outside of the stitches. Leave your stitches intact. So the next thing we're going to want to do is to make a shield to keep the adhesive on the edges and not in the center of your tag. So just go ahead and lay one of either your front or your back on a piece of cardstock. Draw around it, and then draw on the inside of it about a 1/2 inch in, and go ahead and cut that piece out. This piece is going to be your shield. So when you're finished, make 2 shields. Now you've got your things cut out. You've laid your pattern on your fabric, you've cut it out. So in your loops, I want you to just go ahead and put it in half, and then just make a little slit right in there right at the center. This is going to allow you to put your scissors inside and cut around when you're finished. You don't want to cut this out until after you've got it sewn, and you want to do that for each one of your loops. For each one of your backs, you'll want to just cut out a little place here where the buttonhole goes. So again, you can get your scissors in there when you're ready. You want to do the same thing with the fronts. And also with the front, you want to make a place, just a little slit, so you can cut out this piece, because this whole piece is going to come out when you get ready to put your tag together. And then of course, because you can't see this very well, and they get lost because they're so clear, you want to cut 2 pieces of clear vinyl. And we're ready to go to the machine. Okay, so it's important to do these in the right steps, particularly if you only have one hoop. So you have to do the back first, which is the part that has the saying on it. And because I want to put someone's name on this, I'm going to bring it in my edit mode. So I'm going to set that. And then, because it's confusing me because it's wrong side, I'm going to go ahead and turn it so it's upright. I'm going to add a name with my built-in alphabet, and I think I'm going to use this one. So I'm going to make it Ashley. So now I've got Ashley's name on both of them. Now you could, of course, put Ashley on one and John on the other if you were doing these for a couple. You don't have to do them both the same. I'm going to go ahead and set that and start sewing. I put a dark thread on it so you can see what I'm doing. This first sew out is actually the placement lines. So we'll just go ahead and sew that out. Okay, so these are the placement lines. This tells you where to place the fabric. And remember these? We're going to keep the fabric from getting gooped up in the center with adhesive. And now we're going to just spray the adhesive on. So once you've got the adhesive on, you want to very carefully make sure that you put this on and that you've covered every one of the stitches in the placement line. And then you'll do the same with this one. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and make sure that our bobbin is the right color. So we'll put the bobbin in. This is all ready to go. Notice I changed the thread already. So now we're just going to go ahead and tack down the fabric. I'm going to do the next one, which is the buttonhole, because then I'm going to cut them both out at the same time. This tacks down the buttonhole. Okay, so now remember that little slit you put in there? We're going to use that little slit and we're going to cut out this buttonhole. Okay, so now I've got the buttonholes both cut out, and I'm going to take this little extra piece of fabric off here too, so because this will be finished in the next step also. So we'll just take this little piece off. Now we're going to go ahead and put it back on. We're going to finish the buttonhole and we're going to finish this top. Okay, so now as you see, the buttonhole is finished, the top is finished. And remember I said because this has a little bit of a nap, I want to keep the design from kind of falling into that nap. So I'm going to put this water-soluble over it just to keep that from happening. So now I'm just going to finish the design. I'll start out with the dark green and it'll do Joy is in the Journey, and then I'll put the red on for both the hearts, and I'm going to make the red the names also. Okay, so now we're done with that. We're done with the back. So we'll take off the clear and we'll set this aside, and we're going to start on the front. So now that we've got our back done, we're going to do the front. And the same thing happens. First of all, you pull in your front into your machine. The first thing it asks you to do is to draw the placement lines. Okay, now that we're done with that, we're going to go ahead and put our fabric on. Remember, this is the front, so I've made a little bit of a slit here and made a little bit of a slit so we can cut the insides out. Again, I'll find the back, and that's the back. Okay, so now we're going to put a little bit of adhesive. I didn't put anything on the top because that's my opening, and I've protected my workspace with a piece of paper because this glue is kind of nasty if it gets on your workspace. All right, so now again, what you do is you put it on. Make sure you've got all of covered so you don't, and the same with the other one. And tack down. We're tacking down the fabric now. Okay, so now we've got that done, and we need to cut out the middle for the window. So we have to find that. There's one. Okay, so now that's all done. We'll put it back on, and we're actually going to do the satin stitch around the window. Okay, so now the finish is all done for the window. We're going to do the placement for the buttonhole. Then we'll take it off and cut the buttonhole out. Okay, so now that that's stitched, we're going to cut out the area, and then we'll put it back on and get the finishing done. Okay, so that's done. The last little piece here is the top. So we'll just take this extra fabric off because we want it to be nice. Okay, so the next step is to put the window in. So one of the things I want to do is just kind of start this so it's going to be easy to pull when I'm ready to pull it out. I'll do that on both sides. Now we turn the hoop over. We take our windows, and it's hard to see because it's so clear, but make sure that you've got it so it's going to catch. It has to overlap all the way along. It has to overlap the satin stitch. So I'm just going to take a little bit of a... Then one other thing I'm going to do here is, because it's so slick, I'm going to put a piece of tissue to hold it. Make sure it doesn't go away. Doesn't slip out. Okay, so now I'm just going to put this little piece of tissue over it to kind of hold it on while we're finishing up the project, the window. I'll just tape it a couple of places. Okay, that's just going to hold it so that it doesn't slip out. This will just stitch around and hold it in. Okay, now we'll just pull us. Okay, so there we go. We'll pull this off. And now we're ready to put the back to the front. So with our hoop upside down, we're going to put these on like that. So we need to put some adhesive on them. The same kind of a situation that we've done all along. Notice I put a book underneath there to give me some leverage without getting our hoop screwed up. Now again, we want to make absolutely sure that we cover all of the stitching. Okay, get it nice and set so it doesn't come off. Notice I did not spray the top because our card's going to go in there. We'll set it back in. The next stitching will be the tack down. We'll take it out, we'll trim it all up nicely, and then we're going to finish it. And all that's left after that is the loops. Okay, so now we want to just clean up everything that's going to be outside of the satin stitch on both sides. So this we'll take this off here, then we'll turn it over and we'll look at the back and see what needs to come off on the back. Okay, so now this is the last satin stitch. Okay, so now we're finished with the tag itself. All we need to do is to take it off of the stabilizer and out of the hoop. Okay, so this is the last section we need to do, and these are the loops that actually allow you to tie your tag onto your luggage. Remember, you cut 4 of them. Okay, so remember, we need to do this little slit right in the center of each one of them so that you've got a place to start cutting when you want to cut out that center piece. And now we've got this done, we'll glue each one of those on. All right, so now again, what we want to do is cover all of the stitches. Okay, looks like that one's good. And now we do the tack down. Okay, so now that's finished. So what I'm going to do is take it off, and I'm going to cut the center out. So remember this little slit that you made, how important it is now, because you got it in here and you got it started so that you can get this cut out. This is a little fussy. It takes a little doing, but if you've got the right small pair of scissors, you're okay. Okay, so see, I've got this all cut out here. So now we need to put the other side on. So we're going to flip it over and put it on a book so that it's, and then we're going to, okay, so now this is going on the back, and it's the same thing. You want to make sure you're covering your stitches well. the next one. Okay, so now we just need to cut it out on the back. So we'll cut this all out. Okay, so now I've got the inside cut out on the back, and I'm cutting around the outside close to the stitches so the satin stitches will cover it. So now we've got it cleaned up on the right side, the wrong side, and we're going to satin stitch it and it will be done. Okay, remember on the second page of your PDF are the actual tags that go inside that you write on. So go ahead and cut them out and then just slip them in. Make sure they're going the right way and just slip them in. Okay, so there they are. Make sure you put the name and the email and everything on them before you do that. So here are your loops all done, satin stitched, ready to finish your project. So let's just take them off of the stabilizer. And we need to take out this center piece. Clean them up a little bit, any loose threads. And you're ready to put them on. So stick them through the buttonhole, and now there it is. And for you to put it on your luggage, you just put it over your luggage, put it through, pull it down, and there's your luggage tag. Log on to gmabonnie.com for these in the hoop projects and lots of different vacation designs. We hope you enjoyed this tutorial and have lots of fun with all your sewing projects.